Got it. So since we're in the Wolfpack podcast, I will say this: once you bring a kid into this world, regardless of child support, regardless of whether you and the other parents see eye to eye, you become a leader. So my message is lead your tribe, lead your tribe through challenges, lead by example, make an impact. You're here to make a difference in their lives. So make sure you lead your tribe.
I'm going to say make sure that your integrity as a man stays in place. I believe if you keep that integrity as a man, then for the most part, it will keep a lot of the nonsense that we have to go through as fathers and as co-parents. It'll keep that in order. At the end of the day, I know we're saying a lot about women and how they are controlling the system and things like that. But one thing that I know for sure, a woman knows a man who is not going to tolerate the things that she is capable of doing. So if you keep that integrity, you stand on your manhood and you lead, I feel that that can help most of the issues that we go through.
First of all, I'll go into it like this. I think every man should go. First of all, at the age that I'm at now, I've done my research on marriage, right? I tend to lose, what I gain. I've went over my lifestyle, what I want to maintain. And I think that everybody, before they get married in today's world, modern world today, should have that sit down with a lawyer in front of you that's skilled, knows what he's talking about, and has been there and done the homework. And I think you need to do that before you propose, get down on one knee, do all that lovey-dovey stuff, right? And know what marriage is about, what you're signing over, what you're not signing over, what she's coming in with, and what she's going to leave with if it doesn't work out. I'm not saying go into marriage with the mindset that it might not work. No, you're going to give it your 100%. And in that time, if life is created, then you want the best thing for that child. Really don't care what happens to the wife part, because you and I didn't work out. But we're going to make sure in a whole, and I think you should make sure in a whole, whatever child support is, it is. Whatever that child had before you were in the house and out of the, it's there. You should maintain that. That's all I'm saying. Know what you're getting into and do what you need to do to protect yourself as a man. You know your lifestyle before she stepped in it, and you want to maintain that. You know, as a professional artist myself, ain't no woman going to come in and get 50% of what I do. Hell no. You didn't do nothing. That's why she's not involved in my professional life. She will never be involved in my professional life. She will never know nothing about my professional life, because I keep that separate from my personal life, right? The man I need to be for her, to lead, to provide. Don't get those two mixed up. The minute you start saying she's coming in as a helpmate and all that bullshit, no, she ain't coming in for shit. She's coming in to be there for you, you for her. You build a family, you grow, support one another. But listen, you had your life before she came in. She had her life before she came in. It's coexisting, co-parenting. You understand? It's building together. And if things don't work out, okay, what's the best way for the family moving forward? Because you and I didn't work out. That's it.
So my experience with child support was that in my first marriage, I had a child who was born out of my first marriage that I didn't find out wasn't biologically mine until she was 9 years old. I paid 4 years of child support to find out that the kid wasn't mine. And then I got blamed for the DNA test not being in the woman's favor. So in that situation, it took me 2 years, even after the child was separated paternity from me. And, you know, I had to relinquish my parental rights and things of that nature just so I can get out of the admin of it. So even after they proved paternity, the way that child support is ran is an extortion operation where they leverage the kid, you know. So they have an escrow account on it. There's plenty of documentation. There's been studies, analysis done to show that the child support system is really an extortion system where they leverage your kid and they actually hold you liable for the amount of child support owed on the baby that you made, you know, so, or didn't even make in that case. So bottom line is that you have to have an objective opinion in order to take in nuances and experiences and just see if it's an anecdotal opinion or is it even founded on anything that's credible. The men that was speaking up here have credible opinions, but not everybody has credible experience. And in most cases, they don't even know how to articulate it, because if they don't have the experience, what are you talking about? And if actions speak louder than words, then what are you doing when you shutting out somebody else's perspective on the child support system. And this is for the people that have an inability to be objective. You're speaking from subjective places because you don't have the firsthand experience. And the point being is that we have to translate what happens to men in order for the co-parent to understand what circumstances they're putting their child under and making them instantly disadvantaged and not having access to the abundance of resources that a two-parent healthy co-parenting situation affords the child. But you can find out more of that in my book, The Code. And if you want to have an expanded conversation, make sure you move over to the Code Talk platform that's going live and at 9 p.m. EST right after this right here. And again, tune in to Elevated Dialogue on Wednesdays so you can have more of this conversation.
Final thoughts. Paternal parenting and child support. I'm going to say that the best way to not be involved in this is to not be involved in this. We have to start teaching our sons that their seed might be the most important thing in the world. We have to start teaching our daughters that their wombs might be the most important place in this world. And we can't just give that to anybody. So I think that's where we should start. And then the whole child support, paternal parenting thing won't be an issue because they understand that they're not supposed to be giving that to just any old body anyway. And I'm going to just leave it at that.
Sorry about that. I think
Yeah.
responsible men, mature men, plan for everything. And if you aren't really planning for children, you aren't planning for your family, you're not really ready because you're going to have to plan after the fact. So, first and foremost, learn yourself and who you are before you even try to add that to anybody else. Because what you do then is you bring children in the world and then you uh, try to parent from behind or learn from everybody else and everything that nature. So, and we all know that life happens, situations happen. Like me, I started having kids when I was very young and I wasn't ready, but I had people in my life to help steer me in the right directions that helped me along the way. But I made a lot of mistakes. That's why I've paid child support and I've been divorced and all these things because I had uh, children and spouses that I didn't necessarily know the use of. So I abused my authority with that. So make sure that you know what you're getting into beforehand, before you talking about prenups, before you talking about birth control and all these other things. All this is a conversation that has to be had before, whether it's child support and everything. You got to have a conversation with the person that you're partnering with and just make sure you, even if it doesn't work, you respect the other person enough to have a conversation to do what's best for the children, because at the end of the day they are what's important. And I always say, when you cut the marriage, when you sever the marriage, the parents bleed on the children, no matter how old they are. That's all I have.
Well, a lot of good information. I think I'm gonna pick up right where Roland left off. But before I do that, I think every man that wants to be a father, who's thinking about fatherhood, who have not had a child yet, you should go read The Disenfranchised Father by Robert E. Fay, M.D., out of Schenectady, New York. I think it'll be quite revealing to some of these conversations that we're having. My whole point behind this was when it comes down to paternal parenting, fathers should not allow the society or social norms to depict what fatherhood is. You should learn what fatherhood is through the identity of manhood. Therefore, the identity of manhood depicts what fatherhood is because you are the one responsible for the training and upbringing of the children that reside in your house. That is one of the things that you're responsible for doing. And you heard a lot of examples given here today. It's not just paying bills and it's not just making sure you got a gun and a security system on your house. It is also making sure that you interact with your children, spend time with your children, have those conversations. You heard one of the brothers mention on here, helping your son know how to tie a tie, talking to your daughter to help her to understand some of the tricks that she may encounter out in the world when it comes down to her interaction with people of the opposite sex. So I think that's an important thing to understand. Child support is not in the best interest of the child. Child support is the cooperation between, and I said that way intentionally, the cooperation between the male and the female that produced the child. So the non-custodial parent and the custodial parent, both of them, regardless of which position that they fall in, they have to find a way to cooperate so that the child can have a clear depiction of their identity. Their identity will be the thing in which they receive information from the world. If they have a flawed perspective of identity, then what ends up happening, they will start viewing certain situations to where they become either the victim and start blaming everybody for the reason why things are not going the way that they want it to go. So I think that's important to understand. We aren't just sharing this because we're bitter men. What you're hearing is a lot of experience coupled with education to go along with it. And so when you look at it from that perspective, that changed the dynamics. So with that being said, I hope we were able to share some stuff with everybody tonight, and I hope it helps somebody.